couple days ago, the Los Angeles Lakers went out and made that rare offseason trade, rare middle of August offseason trade, where they went out and got Patrick Beverly from the Utah Jazz. In return, the Jazz got your boy Taylor Horton Tucker Jr. along with Stanley Johnson. Now for the Jazz, THT is a guy who's still relatively young. Still a guy who, during his time with the Lakers, who've had pockets of games where he's flashed some sort of potential. I see what the Jazz doing when they trade Donovan Mitchell. You have a guy who you can easily slot into that starting two-guard role and can potentially be a building block for you moving forward on the course of your rebuild. That's why I like this move for the Jazz. Stanley Johnson's still a relatively young player too, and I think he's also a guy who can either come off the bench or slide into that 3 role. Overall, good move for the Jazz. Take a flyer on a young guy. We still got to see them trade Donovan Mitchell, which hopefully comes within the next week, because that would be a banger trade, and I can't wait to break that down here on Sports Talk E. Now, for the Los Angeles Lakers, you get a guy in Patrick Beverly, I should say, who is going to be a defensive spark plug for you, either off the bench or as a starter. I like this move for the Lakers. Beverly is a guy who can get under the Steph Currys, the Dame Lillards. He can get under some guys' skin and make it a rough 48 minutes for them. Like, you're going to get your dirty 40 points, but it ain't going to be an easy dirty 40 points, if you know what I mean. Like, Pat Beverly's going to make you work for every single point. He's a guy who's going to get in your face. He's going to talk some trash. He's going to talk about your mama on the court probably, and that's why I like this move for the Lakers. The Lakers get a rugged guy, and also, Pat Beverly knows about winning basketball. He's played in conference finals. He's been on the big stage. And for the Lakers, you need more guys with that kind of experience. The Lakers, with LeBron locked in for the next couple years, with AD, who's technically in his prime, who needs to stay healthy, are in win-now mode. And they'll increase their chances of winning with adding Pat Beverly. Now, the only concern here is we all know that there's a history between starting Lakers point guard Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverly. We all know about the beef. We all know about the animosity these two have towards each other. We know about the trash talking over the years. Like, Pat Beverly kind of built a name off of Russell Westbrook. You got the statement that Russ, like, he's just out there running around. Nah, Pat Beverly just ain't out there running around. That boy seriously is really good at basketball. You know what I mean? He's good at the mental side of the basketball. It's a few guys who has the mental along with the skill set, and Pat Beverly plays that mental warfare really good. Now for the Lakers, like as I mentioned, is a team in win now mode. Has to figure out what they're doing with Russell Westbrook. It's time to move on for Russell Westbrook. I love Russ. Russ is one of my favorite players in the NBA. The seasons when he was just averaging a triple-double, come on now. We might never see that again in NBA history. Well, we probably will, but it'll probably be a long time before we ever see that again. But this ain't the same Russell Westbrook from 2017, 2016, and 2015. This Russell Westbrook is well into his 30s and isn't that great of a player anymore. He's still a really solid NBA player and probably still has a lot left in the tank, but the Lakers isn't in the situation that he needs to be in. And I know that there's rumors around that maybe the Lakers should go out, trade him to another team. I know the Lakers have always had their eyes on guys like Buddy Hield, and I think a Russ or Buddy Hield trade is something I can see happening. For the Lakers, you get a guy who can go out and get you 18 to 19 points and can space the floor for LeBron and AD. And for the Pacers, you get a guy who can be a mentor to Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton is one of the better young point guards in the game. Last season, he averaged 18 points. After the trade that sent him from Sacramento to Indiana, he averaged 18 points and showed flashes of elite level play. I think, personally, you bring him in to help mentor the Tyrese Halliburton's OG. It would be an ideal move for the Pacers moving forward. Like, they're not going to be in the playoffs next year, and they're not the team that was like with Paul George that was going to the finals every year. But still would be a really good move for the Pacers simply for Tyrese Halliburton's development. Halliburton is such an electric young point guard in this league, and he's so fun to watch. Definitely recommend. I definitely recommend if you if early on in the season, because I think after like the All-Star break, no one's watching the Pacers or the Pistons or these bad teams. But if you might F around, catch him in the middle of a 20-point, 10-assist game, and just diamond everybody and just running the offense so filthy. Just love the guy. Anyway, what you guys think, man? What you guys think? What do you guys think the Lakers are gonna do next year? What do you think Patrick Beverly is gonna fit in the Lakers offense? I'm intrigued to find out.